Look, everyone knows Ronaldo's just a bit past his prime at this point. I mean, the guy was born in the mid-80s. It was bound to happen, come on now. And his reign atop the greatest sport in the world wasn't going to last forever. But no one could have prepared us for just how hard it was going to be to watch this man's fall from grace. Every athlete, no matter how talented or hardworking they are, eventually succumbs to their greatest enemy, Father Time himself. And we've seen this time and time again, no matter the sport. It could be soccer, basketball, football, baseball, tennis, but even cricket. It doesn't matter. And a recent example of this was with Serena Williams, who had just played in her last Grand Slam ever during the summer. Hell, another athlete's career we're slowly seeing fade away is Colts QB Matty Ice, who's in the twilight years of his career at this point. And now, it's Ronaldo's turn to move on from the sport he's been playing since the day he learned to walk. And signs of Ronaldo giving it to Father Time have been there since the day he left Juventus and was bought by Manchester United. And when I say Ronaldo and Portugal's winning the World Cup won't matter, I mean it in terms of how it will affect Ronaldo's legacy. Because of course it's going to matter, but how much really? Because at this point in his career, Ronaldo is no longer the star of the team. And if you think otherwise, then you just don't know football. Hell, the dude didn't even start in the round of 16 for Portugal. And let's be real, they looked really good without him. 6 goals were scored for the Portuguese team, and not a single one of them came from Cristiano, whose job it is to score. And want to know why Ronaldo didn't score versus Switzerland? Because he came into the game at the 73rd minute. And we see this all the time in the basketball world especially, when a superstar well past his prime is no longer good enough to start on the team, and instead just comes off the bench every once in a while for a championship contender that could have won without him. Come on. Take Dwight Howard, for example. I mean, the guy was a legend on the Orlando Magic and won more DPOYs than I could count. But when he was the best player on a championship level team, they just weren't good enough to win it all. However, he did end up winning a ring 15 years into his career, where at that point, he was no longer the star of the team. But rather, Howard was just a bench piece on an already talented roster that probably could have won the finals without him. And if you don't want to be a useless side character on the bench, then how about subscribing to the channel and liking the video, yeah? Alright, now, even though winning a finals could only really help Dwight's legacy, how highly should we value that championship? Should it be valued at the same level of Dirk Nowitzki's single championship ring? Of course not, because Dirk had a way bigger impact for his team the year he won it all. And Dirk too was in one of the later stages of his career, but he was still one of, if not the best player on that roster. So, to put into soccer terms, if Ronaldo wins the World Cup, it should boost his legacy, obviously, but it should also be seen in the same way Dwight Howard's NBA ring is seen in, if we're being real. Which, when it comes to legacy talk, doesn't really happen much. While I believe that if Messi wins the World Cup, it should be seen in much higher regards, and cement him as the best player in football history. The same way people in the NBA world respect and honor Dirk for when he won the NBA Finals. And if you've got a problem with this, then let me break it down to you in layman's terms. Player come off bench, not as good as player who start on team, and score goals in pivotal moments for nation they represent. I mean, it's not like Ronaldo was benched because the coach hates him. He was benched because the guy he was competing with a spot for is better. Gonzalo Ramos started in Ronaldo's place for the game against Switzerland, and he did his thing at the 9th spot, bagging a hat trick. And it all comes back to what I've been saying since the very beginning. Because Ramos is out here making plays that come pretty natural for a 21-year-old, compared to a 37-year-old, which is no fault against Ronaldo. But everyone's end comes, and his is sooner rather than later at this point. And it's fair for you to shit on me on this take, but when you think about Ronaldo and how he's playing, all I ask is that you don't let your nostalgia get the best of you and distract you from the truth, which is that Ronaldo just isn't him anymore. He's not the godlike striker that plays for Real Madrid, who you grew up watching, had posters of, and idolized your game around. He isn't the teenager you saw rise to stardom overnight for Manchester United way back when. But I didn't say all of this because I'm a Ronaldo hater. I want to see the legend go out on top, holding the trophy that's evaded him his entire career. Nothing would be more magical than witnessing a man who's had to train and grind for everything he's ever had. Whether it's Ronaldo, Messi, hell, even Neymar. Seeing at least one of these GOATs achieve the impossible would be beautiful. Anyway, that's just about it for the video. Leave a comment telling me who you think is going to win the World Cup. Deuces. And before you go, just get ready for next week's video that's going to blow up the internet, okay? It's going to be about Neymar and why this superpower, this juggernaut in Brazil, hasn't won a World Cup in ages. I mean, they're arguably South America's best nation, and yet they can't seem to win it all, which is crazy to me. And maybe, just maybe, Vinicius Jr. and this next young core are the key to changing all of that. But that's next week, coming out in like 3 to 4 days, so get ready for that. Alright, this time, thank you for real. Deuces.